Some sort of explosion at a two-story home at 2830 West 25th Street happened just after 3 this morning. It may or may not have been related to natural gas. Salvador says he immediately ran from his home, jumped over this fence, and just as he was about to run into the burning building, he says a young girl came flying from the second-floor window.
CLTV's Regina Waldrop is in DeKalb this morning with more. Regina?
I'll tell you, those grief counselors will be here for 4 days of intensive training of faculty and staff, giving them ways to help students cope when they head back to classes here on Monday to begin yet another step in that long process of healing.
Regina, what are travelers up against there?
Well, Brianna, they're up against long lines and lots of other frustrated passengers. Just take a look at this line. Now, this line has been here since this morning. It keeps on growing and growing. So far, more than 130 American airline flights here in Chicago have been canceled. And more cancellations? Well, they're on the way for tomorrow. More travel troubles for airline passengers.
I'm very annoyed, very, very annoyed. And I blame the politicians.
The nation's largest air carrier is canceling hundreds of flights as it tries for a second time to comply with federal rules about wiring on its fleet of MD-80 aircraft.
This morning was crazy. They only had 2 people working the front, and then it was just crazy.
The jets have been pulled out of service, so the wiring in the wheel wells can be re-inspected, and displaced passengers are clearly frustrated.
These inspection processes are not random. They're not something that they suddenly surprise an airline with.
It is a hassle, and we were supposed to be home last night, and I've got people back at my place where I work in Florida waiting, they're expecting me back.
Bev Gordon is headed to Florida for a wedding.
They canceled our flight last night. My husband was on the phone all night trying to get other transportation.
The airlines rebooked Gordon on a Delta flight, but she is still annoyed with this huge hassle.
They knew this was happening with the airplanes. So why do we, the common folk, have to suffer?
Now, Brianna, American says it won't know how many flights will be canceled tomorrow until it gets a read on how quickly mechanics and inspectors can look at those MD-80s and get them back in the air. In the meantime, American is trying to accommodate passengers who've been displaced by getting them on other flights on American or other airlines. Brianna?
Regina, that woman is going to get to that wedding, though, right?
She's going to get to the wedding, but she may have to make 2 or 3 stops before she gets there.
Oh, that is so not fun. Okay, so this is what people are up against. Regina Waldrop for us with our affiliate CLTV. Thanks so much for that live report.
All right, let's get an update on holiday travel at one of the nation's busiest airports. Reporter Regina Waldrop of CLTV joins us live from Chicago's O'Hare International. Regina, good to see you again. Hey, Regina, I'm told the O'Hare story this holiday is as much an economic story as it is a travel story. Explain that to us for us.
Well, Tony, because of the slumping economy, a lot of folks are not able to fly home to see Grandma for Thanksgiving. But I tell you what, the folks who are able to fly, well, they're taking advantage of an early Christmas gift, especially if they procrastinated in getting their ticket. They're getting nice, cheap holiday fares. Thanksgiving Eve at the nation's second busiest airport. And scores of travelers are on their way out of town for the holiday.
I live in Chicago and I'm headed to Phoenix for a big Thanksgiving vacation. We thought we were going to have to drive like 9.5 hours.
Colleen Ivy and her girls are headed to Kansas City, a trip they didn't think they could afford months ago.
We winded up getting deals under $200 a ticket at the last minute.
But with the economy struggling and airline seats going empty, carriers are cutting fares. Prices for flights from Chicago to other U.S. cities have come down 25% in the past 6 weeks.
I'm definitely noticing a huge drop in prices now.
Frank Antonopoulos is headed to Vegas for an annual Thanksgiving getaway. He bought his ticket early, but now wishes he had waited for a bargain.
The prices like 2-3 months ago were just ridiculous.
And Tony,
it's Regina Waldrop who has more on this story. Regina?
Well, Judy, I'm right along Halstead Street in the River West neighborhood, and to get here, we had to dodge and swerve around numerous potholes. Now, city crews are out overnight repairing potholes on a stretch of North Lakeshore Drive. And when it comes to the number of potholes coming into the city's 311 center, well, that number's up tenfold compared to last year. Mayor Daley calls this the year of potholes, and it's something many drivers already knew.
The potholes, man, is terrible when driving. It's all bumpy and stuff.
The freeze-thaw cycles and relentless snowstorms have created the perfect storm for a vehicle's worst nightmare, the dreaded pothole. And they seem to be popping up everywhere, keeping pothole patrols busy patching a higher than normal crop of crater-sized holes.
On an average day in winter, our crews are filling between 2,000 and 3,000 potholes a day.
Tuesday, crews patched about 3,500 potholes, and yesterday they filled several more along a troublesome stretch of North Lakeshore Drive. And while potholes mean problems for drivers, for tire shops and tow truck drivers, they mean profit. Some shops say they've been selling about 80 tires a day. That's up from a daily average of about 20. And those tires and rims, they don't come cheap.
It's the kind of business that we wish we didn't have, because people are never happy about coming in and spending, some of these packages are one tire, one rim, $1,000.
Now, Judy, if your car was damaged by a pothole on the streets of Chicago, there's a way for you to get some help from the city. You can file a claim with the city clerk's office. Just visit shycityclerk.com/claims. And, of course, to report a pothole, dial the city's non-emergency number 311. And typically they say it takes 3 to 6 days for crews to get out and repair that pothole, depending on the weather. Reporting from the River West neighborhood, Regina Waldrop, CLTV News. Judy, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Regina.